Hey, real estate investors. Today, let's talk about the BRRRR. What is it? It's cold out right now. It's winter right now. It's not about winter. It is definitely about making some money and doing it right. And so we just want to give you an example of what it could look like with a BRRRR and how we could do it and utilize it to maximize your return on investment, and also to avoid some of the things that I did in this BRRRR deal here specifically. If you're in the Northeast right now, it's actually pretty pleasant right now. But a couple weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, it was not so much. But as we look at a BRRRR deal, this is, for those who don't really know what BRRRR stands for, I'll just give a quick breakdown of what that means. BRRRR is a buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. So basically you're buying a property that needs some work, it needs help, it needs work for you to get it where it needs to be, and then you go back to the bank and get it refinanced. So let's give you an example with pictures and everything of the property that we had used here. All right. So this is the property we bought. I'll show you an outside picture here in a little bit. This is a nice little brick rancher, actually in the Pittsburgh market. So it's in a little bit different market, maybe than you're located at, but this can go anywhere, any market really. So this here basically shows a typical older style home. I believe, was built in the 50s, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it was the 50s. So we have a finished basement here on the lower picture here. And then the top left, there is the kitchen with an older style kitchen. Although it looks very clean, looks very taken care of, but it's outdated and looks gross. I'd say gross, but it's just dated. And then obviously the living room there, very clean, very simple, nothing really going on here. So it's just a clean but dated property. And these are the ones we really love. And I'll kind of show you why with the numbers and everything else like this. But here is the property afterwards. We did paint the white railings black and the front door black, and the two front doors black as well, to kind of make it pop and more modern looking on the exterior as well. The kitchen, we put white cabinetry in. We left some of the things there, soffit and everything, but we updated the kitchen with Corian countertops, and dishwasher, new refrigerator and everything there, new flooring throughout. For the most part. Now you can kind of see it in the dining room there, right in the kitchen picture on the right hand side. It is hardwood floors. What it was basically here is we just refinished the hardwood floors. So they were really good condition. We just refinished them, made them really nice. And so my goal with any investment property, when you're trying to redo a property like this, specifically designed for renting out, I want to make it as clean and as simple to replace as much as possible if we have to. Now, finishing hardwood floors isn't exactly easy to do, but it's a little more durable than maybe carpet, obviously. The other product we really love is LVP, luxury vinyl plank flooring. Usually can peel up sections of it and put new back in. I don't do the snap together, I do the glue down on some of our products. And there's different products you can use. Don't get me wrong, if you don't like that product, that's fine. But I just when we have a tenant turnover, try to say that really fast a couple times, but when you have a tenant turnover, we want to keep all the costs down as much as possible. I don't want to have to repaint and new flooring between every tenant. I don't want to do any of that. So what we're trying to do is trying to eliminate as much as we can possibly when we're looking to do a tenant turnover. So reduce my cost of maintenance, reduce my cost of rehab when there is a tenant turnover in that case. So this is the property. Let's continue on to the next. So here are the numbers. So to give you an idea, this house was bought cash for $115,000. Now in Pennsylvania, there's transfer taxes and fees and title work and closing cost fees. Those closing cost fees, for example, were $4,900. I still think that's super high, but either way, it was what it was. So $4,900. So in all, to buy this property, it cost me almost $20,000. So I don't live anywhere near Pittsburgh, if you're not familiar with where I'm at, but I don't live near Pittsburgh. I live about 4 hours away from there. And so it didn't make sense for me to get out there. So I'm happy to pay a contractor. I'm happy to have good connections there with the contractors. And so basically we paid a management fee or a construction fee of $7,400. Now that's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but they did a lot of work. They ordered material. They got all the material together. They organized all the contractors. They maintained it, sent me pictures often, weekly almost. And they kept me in the loop with every detail of the property. So they did a very, very nice job. Could have I gotten a cheaper price from somebody else? Probably. I could have shopped around and done a little bit more shopping around and getting a better price, but they put together multiple prices for me where I could kind of pick and choose what I wanted to do. And we went middle of the road. We didn't upgrade a ton of things. I shouldn't say that. We didn't upgrade everything, but we put a new bathroom in, we put a new kitchen in, we put a new painting, new flooring, new outlets, new electrical outlets and plates. And so we did a lot of work, but there were certain things like we didn't paint the trim. We kept that was all very clean and very nice, but it was wood trim, so it wasn't modern. It was more dated still. But we knew this was a rental property. We weren't looking to flip the property. We were looking to just use it as a rental property. So we minimized some of our expenses, but we also set ourselves up for low turnover costs as we move forward with this. So the rehab cost $33,400. That rehab, again, was a brand new kitchen, new appliances. And again, we put some newer, nicer finishes on there, again, with the Corian countertops in the kitchen, all new bathrooms, new shower, new tile shower, new flooring, new painting, some things outside as well, just to get this completed. So all in, we were about $160,000, almost $167,000. Excuse me, $160,700 in on this project. And so at this point, we were done with the rehab. So for example, we bought this in January of 2022. Then we rehabbed this property and we were completed about April. I want to say end of March is when we were completed. Some final touches, maybe beginning of April. And we were going back to the bank and saying, hey, I own this free and clear. And how I did that, and you can do this multiple ways, that $120,000 plus the $33,000, or excuse me, almost $40,000 in rehab costs there, basically put me out. And so I had a HELOC that I was able to use to do that. You can do hard money loans if you would like. You can do certain kinds of things if you would like to do, private money. Maybe family members are willing to loan you money at a certain interest rate. Maybe it's a hard money loan, or maybe it's a HELOC that you own on another property. So all very great ways to use that to buy this cash. That's the easiest way to do it, is if you have the cash or have a HELOC. But so we were out that money. So now it was April. Now this property I purchased in my name. Right, wrong, indifferent. I don't, we can have a whole nother podcast or another conversation about LLCs versus in your names. And I like both. I think both have their pros and cons. Either one is fine. You use whichever one you want to use and what you feel is important to you. So we got an appraisal on the thing, and it was well over what it wasn't quite well over what I asked for $190,000 at the time. When the appraisal came back in, it came back in just shy of $180,000. But the problem, and number one problem here, if it's in your name, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac says you cannot refinance on that property within the first 6 months of that property. Now, because I was in month 4 of owning this, month 3, I want to say, because it was the end of January when we purchased it, of owning this property, they would not give me the appraised value of 180,000. They said, sorry, we will give you a loan of what you put into it, meaning we'll give you a loan of $115,000 for the purchase and the closing cost of $4,900. We'll give you 75% of that. No, I'm sorry, they didn't. So normally they would have given me a 75% of the 180,000 appraisal. That's what they should have done, but they didn't. They gave me a 100% loan of at 119.9 is what their loan they gave me. I said, guys, this is an appraisal. This is done. You clearly see that the value of this home is at this X, Y, and Z, 180,000. Why can you not give me a loan of more? And they just refused. They absolutely refused. And so I basically said, fine, it's going to cash flow extremely well. I'm going to end up leaving $40,000 in the deal. I got a prehabbed home that's in great condition. I rented it out to a very nice family, or excuse me, a very nice lady who is a traveling nurse. And so far she's been an excellent tenant. We've been very, very happy with her and everything that she is doing there. And so she is renting that at $1,650 a month. I pay a property management fee of $116 a month. And then we have our PI, TI, principal and interest, taxes, and insurance. Now, within my name, I just escrow it because I don't feel like chasing down every tax bill and every insurance bill. So I just have them pay it. It may be a moot point or just a management point, but I just kind of like it being in my name for that escrow reason. If it's in an LLC, you don't have that escrow. And being that I'm 4 hours away, it just makes it a little bit nice to, it just makes it a little bit nicer to handle that through the mortgage company. So in all, I'm cash flowing just shy of $600 a month on this property. Now, would I like my 40,000 bucks or even, would I like my $40,000 back? Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to be able to throw that into another project, but I'm also happy with the $600 a month cash flow that I'm getting there. I think interest rate, we were somewhere around 4.25 when we locked this in. Interest rate right now is about 7. I think right now it's 6.75 to 7. So obviously, not so sure I'm going to pull that equity out right now. I'm going to be happy with that $600 cash flow. We're going to sit on that for a little bit here. We'll see what interest rates do over the next year. If I feel like pulling my equity out at that point, and here, just if you see that the value of today, as of today, is 205,000. So I very well could pull my money out if I wanted to very easily. But again, my cash flow shrinks drastically. And right now, I just kind of happy with the cash flow. I'm looking for cash flow just to keep everything moving forward. We ended up buying a bunch of brand new townhomes as well, just to kind of float those. And so just that extra cash flow gets us through till we get them all leased up and get those fully occupied and fully leased up. So just gives me that extra cash flow. So once that's done and we got that project, we may move on to another project, or we may look at pulling equity out of this guy to do another project. So basically from there, that's the BRRRR strategy. BRRRR was I bought this property, bought it for 115, total of 120,000. We rehabbed it for 40 grand. We refinanced it at $120,000 loan. And then we rented it out for $1,650 a month, which was great. And we then looked to repeat the same process, do it over again. Now, in a grand scheme of things, I'm okay leaving a couple $1,000s in. This deal, the only reason I'm somewhat okay with it is because I'm getting a really good cash flow on it. But ideally, I messed that up. I should have waited the 6 months. Really looking back now, we were really pushing for another project, and we were doing another project, and so I needed the money. I needed that $120,000. to move into that next project. So I was kind of okay with it, just because I didn't want to miss out on the next opportunity we had. So with that being said, just one tip here: if you're putting it in your name and you're going to refinance it after you rehab it, you're going to need to wait that seasoning, what they call seasoning period. Some lenders are a little different. Maybe 4 months is okay. Typically, it's right around 6 months is where the seasoning period needs to be, what they call seasoning period. Now, if it's in an LLC, you're going with a commercial loan, what they call commercial loan, through a local bank or members credit union or something like that, a local credit union. A lot of times they won't care. And so if they don't care, then you may be able to refinance it really quickly. Another thing is they may have like a 3-month or even 2-month seasoning period as well. Or a lot of times what happens with an LLC like that, a lot of lenders will just say, show me the before pictures, show me the after pictures, show me what you did, and they're good. So if you have all that information, have the before, after pictures, which I really encourage you to do that. Take all the before pictures you can, get a good glimpse of that property before you do the rehab, and then get beautiful pictures afterwards. And then that just helps big time with you showing the bank and getting that refinance at the top dollar. Another thing to keep in mind is LLC will loan out 80% typically. Now, again, each lender is going to be slightly different when it comes to local lenders. Some are a little more eager to work with you, others not so much, just because they're maybe told from the member bank board that, hey, we want to go on this focus, we want to focus on this or that, and maybe they're not focusing on real estate. Maybe they're focused more on business loans. So it just depends on the bank you're working with. But typically, they're willing to do 80% loan to value on anything, 1 to 4 units, doesn't matter. It's Fannie Mae on a refinance on a 1 unit, they will give up to 75%. On a 2 to 4 unit, they will give up to 70% LTV. This is very important when you go to refinance it, because if it's in your name and you're only getting 70%, now you really got to take into consideration what that means for you and your cash flow at the end of the day, and how much you're going to have to leave in. Because, you're okay leaving some money in the property because it's a brand, completely rehabbed property. It's a really good condition now, but you not necessarily want to leave 40 grand in a property. So it's really important to understand that, hey, when you go to refinance that, BRRRR, know what product you're going to do. And, it's not bad. I'd maybe even recommend an LLC, just because you're going to have better refinancing options when you complete that rehab and that BRRRR. But again, it's all up to you. It depends what you want to do. It just happened to work out for me in that way, and that's the decision we made, just because it was a unique situation for us. But that's what we chose to do there. So that is a BRRRR. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was a good example, and it was a great way to build equity in a property, and great way to increase your cash flow, monthly cash flow. That way you can continue to do awesome things for your family, do awesome things for the community, and just be an all-around awesome person. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about investing, let me know. I'm happy to educate you, happy to help you through that process. We love helping you buy and sell properties. We are the Peak Asset Team, so visit our website at peakassetteam.com. Check us out, and thanks for watching.